Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to, what is this, TOCNS, the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. This show is a dive into the weird, obscure, bizarre, in other words, for a strange world of notable events, weather, and sports, covering topics seldomly, if ever, seen from most news sources these days. Join us! During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss for the most part. For links to all these articles and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar description below. And any links gathered throughout the show will, of course, appear post-live stream as per usual. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and you, viewer, are you. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It's 79 degrees right now. Otherwise, I would be wearing one of my Christmas hats. We are 10 days away. So get your stuff done. If you're not completely already done, you have 10 days, and go avoid that crunch, because the crunch will crunch you. Anyway, today, as I said, is Freya's Day, aka Friday, December 15th, 2023. So let's jump into the news today, shall we? And I find this first story rather appealing. So, talking about this again, Japan's wacky banana hammers are taking over Taiwan. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. We spoke about this after the whole AI toilet catching fire story that damn near killed the loon a couple weeks ago. So, remember those funny banana hammers we featured a few days ago? Well, they recently went viral in Taiwan, and the Japanese manufacturer is struggling to keep up with demand. What is this? Iron Factory Aikida, a typical precision metal manufacturing plant in Hiroshima, Japan, started making banana-shaped mallets in 2019 and followed up with steel banana hammers a year later. Over the years, the company developed different variations of the wacky product, including smaller versions modeled after baby bananas. They were popular enough to remain in production, but last month, banana hammers went viral online and sparked newfound interest among consumers not only in Japan, but around the world. For example, people in Taiwan are apparently ordering like crazy. So let me, I am live, so let's see here. Boop, move that there. All right. And I want live chat, not top chat. Okay. So, this is banana hammers. So, if you want any banana hammers, order yours now. It might take a year before you get them. So, yeah. Let's see here. Moving on up. Man with largest nasal flesh tunnel. Ugh, that sounds awful. Colton Pfeiffer currently holds a Guinness World Record of the world's largest nasal septum flesh tunnel, a giant hole with a diameter of 2.6 centimeters. I've seen this picture. I'm intentionally not putting it on screen because it's kind of disturbing here. Colton was 18 years old when he first decided to get his nasal septum pierced. Not navel, that's a different area of the body. It was a routine procedure that involved the use of a 16-gauge needle and forceps. That sounds horrifying. It took about a week for the soreness to go away, and the Monroe, Michigan native pretty much left it alone for about 5 years. Then at one point he started stretching it to the point where he started noticing that no other piercing enthusiast had a septum flesh tunnel quite like his, and that only encouraged him to stretch it even more. After researching the world's largest nasal septum flesh tunnel, Colton Pfeiffer realized he could beat it, especially since he was trying to stretch his nose hole even more anyway. And I'm not going to look at this, but if you want to see this, there it is. So, yeah, absolutely horrifying. If anybody does this, whatever, it's your body, but just realize that, you're not gonna be on the first list of potential, job candidates, or candidates of anything really. Anyway, let's move on up here. The Picasso moth is truly a living work of art. Baracia hieroglyphica, also known as the Picasso moth, is a species of moth named after the famous Spanish painter Pablo Picasso because of its unusually artistic wing patterns. First described by British entomologist Frederick Moore in 1882, the Picasso moth is native to Southeast Asia and northern India. Like most moths, Baracia hieroglyphica is a nocturnal insect that feeds mostly on the nectar of various plants. Arguably the most beautiful of the noctoid moths, Noctoidae family, this stunning-looking insect has been dubbed the most interesting moth in the world. The species' scientific name, hieroglyphica, refers to the striking geometric lines and shapes on its four wings, while its common name was inspired by the blotches, stripes, and dots of color that hint at the work of a talented painter. So check that out. That's really interesting. That's a natural phenomenon. I wonder what it's trying to look like in a natural form, because, like we all know, there's there's camouflage, that's really really good, and whatnot. And I wonder what this is trying to do. But yeah, it's a beautiful moth. So yeah, let's see. Moving on up here now. I'm gonna play this here really quick because. Never hold your sneezes in. Like, even if, you feel like you need to, never do it in, even if it results in this.
Achoo.
You see, you'd rather blow out a wall than blow out your trachea, like this next gentleman here. Man tears windpipe while trying to suppress a sneeze. Yeah, you can actually cause bodily harm. So, if you're gonna sneeze, something inside you wants to get out. Let it get out. It's just like diarrhea. The more you hold it in, the more of a disaster it's going to be. So just go to the toilet and let it fly. What has been described as a first-of-its-kind medical case, a man in his 30s ended up with a hole in his throat after pinching his nose and pressing his lips to shut in order to suppress a sneeze. The unnamed man was taken to Ninewells Hospital in Dundee, Scotland, in severe pain after trying to stifle a sneeze by pinching his nose and closing his mouth shut while driving. Apparently, when you do something like that, the pressure in the upper airways can increase by about 20 times, which can lead to serious injuries, including ruptured eardrums, aneurysms, and even broken ribs. Aneurysms can kill you. Straight up. You can die. So this is not just about tearing your windpipe. This is about, life and death. However, in this particular case, the unnamed patient ended up with a 2mm tear in their windpipe, which caused excruciating pain. A throat tear, known medically as a spontaneous tracheal perforation, that sounds horrifying, is a rare and potentially life-threatening injury that had not been associated with a sneeze stifling before. But yeah, it has now. So, yikes. So if you have a sneeze, let it go. Let it get out of you. And I'm actually about to sneeze myself. Like, I don't know why, but I've been that's probably why I sound like this. So give me a... sorry about that. Pardon me, but yeah. You'd rather have a dad sneeze and destroy a wall in the house than, potentially pop your brain. So, which, aneurysm, that's what it is. Anyway, moving on up. Woman suffering from chronic dehydration has over 300 kidney stones removed. Ugh, that sounds awful, and I can unfortunately already see some of the stones there. That's kind of want to throw up just looking at it. A 20-year-old woman from Taiwan recently underwent surgery to have no less than 300 small stones removed from her right kidney. The young woman, identified as Zhao Yu by Taiwanese media, was admitted to a hospital in the city of Tainan earlier this month after complaining of severe pain in her lower back. She also had a fever, and a blood test showed an unusually high white blood cell count. Doctors ordered a CT scan which showed that Yu's right kidney was full of fluid and virtually full of kidney stones. The first order of business was put to the young woman on antibiotics, then drain the fluid from her kidney, and finally perform minimally invasive surgery to remove the hundreds of stones. Hi-ya. That's... Jesus. You don't want to see that. Always keep yourself hydrated. Now, don't overhydrate. Don't drink too much water. That can be lethal. Don't drink too much sports drinks, that can actually develop kidney stones. So, keep your electrolytes up, keep your salinity, keep your, HO2. Well, that's air, I think. Yeah. No. I don't know. O2 is air. HO2 is water. Keep your water up. I need to keep my water up. I don't remember these things. But yeah, just stay healthy out there, people. Anyway, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, the story straight out of Happy Madison Productions. Hermes billionaire trying to adopt his 51-year-old gardener as his only heir. I mean, this sounds like, what was it? Mr. Deeds. So yeah, Nicholas Peuch, an heir to the legendary Hermes fashion house, recently stunned the world by announcing his intention to legally adopt his former gardener and leave him his $11 billion fortune. Wow. 81-year-old Pusch, who is unmarried and without children, ranks among Switzerland's wealthiest individuals with a net worth estimated between $10.3 billion and $11.4 billion, despite a fallout with his famous family following the 2014 takeover of a substantial stake in Hermes' by rival luxury conglomerate LVMH. That sounds familiar. LVMH. Louis Vuitton. Yeah, that's right. Pusch still owns a considerable share in the $220 billion company, and his move to leave it all to his former gardener and family man has sparked controversy. The unnamed gardener, who comes from a modest Moroccan family, is reportedly married to a woman from Spain and has 2 children of his own. So that's pretty cool. So here's the actual billionaire here, and he's just straight up just gonna give it to his former gardener. Dude, that's sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And yeah, this is literally just something straight out of a Happy Madison production. Now, if you got into an Uber and you saw this on the back of your driver's head, what would you do? Well, apparently somebody thought that they were driving with a hitman or something, because a man asked an Uber driver to find him a hitman willing to take out his ex-wife. What? A Kenyan man has been arrested in Connecticut for trying to have his estranged wife killed by asking a random Uber driver to help him find a hitman willing to do the dirty deed. Wow. Does he really think that this country is that bad? I mean, I know we're kind of shitty, but I mean, we're not... not every Uber driver, knows hitmen. I mean, come on, Leonard Thuo Mwitha, at the age of 52, a former high-flying executive at Kenya Commercial Bank, KCB, is facing a lengthy prison sentence for attempting to hire a hitman to kill the woman he had married for he had been married to for 22 years. According to a report by the Connecticut State Police, Mwitha had followed his estranged spouse, who had run away in September of last year because of his abusive behavior, to the United States in an attempt to convince her to return home. Having failed to do that, the man decided that the woman had to die. After getting into an Uber, he reportedly started talking to the driver, telling him that he was very, very mad and that he needed a hitman. Holy crap, dude. And look at him. He doesn't care. Wow. That's a monster. That's the face of a monster right there. That's disgusting. Holy crap. I'm about to sneeze again, so give me a minute. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from Omni Central. Scientist spends 10 months in prison after an AI system wrongfully identified him as the murderer. Ooh. Okay, well, I mean, this begs the question. I remember this topic, being brought up or something. I don't remember exactly where, but, with AI starting to slowly control everything, and without, checks and balances by humans, if we just entrust AI to handle everything, then what's stopping somebody from programming in a certain way politically, or from hacking it and stuff like that? If somebody, for example, how the hospital systems and all that stuff is pretty much all run by AI now, what's stopping somebody from being, someone of this political ideology is farther on down, the kidney transplant list, and let's hope that they don't make it, what's stopping people from doing that? It's absolutely disgusting and horrifying. And right here we have, an example in the legal system. So Russian hydrologist Alexander Sekivov was detained in February 2023 after an AI system determined that his face was a 55% match to the sketch of a murderer drawn 20 years ago by a witness. Wow, so just a sketch, not even a photograph, but a sketch. And hey, Pete, welcome to the show. How you doing, man? Alexander Seveskov, a scientist at the Russian Academy of Sciences Institute of Inland Water Biology, has been living a nightmare for the past 10 months. He was removed from an airplane in February following a work trip to Krasnoyarsk and informed that he had been identified as the author of a series of murders over 20 years ago. Investigators claim that he and his alleged accomplice killed at least 2 people in Moscow and the Moscow region in August of 2002. Ignoring the testimonies of multiple scientists that Tvesikov had been with them at the time of the murders. The state smoking gun, an AI-powered system that found a 55% match between Tvesikov and a sketch drawn by a witness over 2 decades ago. So that's just awful. So not even a photograph, but a sketch. A sketch! Something drawn by the hand of man based off of the memory of another person. Like, absolutely should not be considered conclusive evidence by any means. That's just a springboard to start a search, not to be utilized as a condemning. Yikes, man. And an AI was used to do this, so... I mean, this is obviously, like, nothing malicious, just, complete, like, over-reliance on AI and, bad decisions the whole way around, but still, just awful stuff. Anyway, what else do we got here? World's first microwave bag lets you heat meals on the go. The Wiltex Will Cook microwave bag looks like a stylish laptop bag, but it's actually made out of conductive fabric that allows the user to heat the inside all the way up to 250 degrees Celsius. What? Let's see. We cannot allow a prohibition on Second Amendment for mental illness because one day they may can you ill for wrong thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, this continuing on with this article here, say what you will, but there's nothing more comforting than a nice hot meal on a cold winter day, especially when you're out and about. But what if you have no way of heating your lunch or ordering a hot meal? That's where the world's first microwave bag comes into place. Made out of an innovative fabric developed by Japanese company Shanky Company Limited, the Wiltex Will Cook bag looks like your average laptop bag, but it can heat up to whatever you have stored inside a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius in just 5 minutes. Okay, so that's in 5 minutes. So 250 is going to take a while longer. The bag itself weighs just 160 grams, while the rechargeable battery pack powering it weighs an extra 120 grams. So, the true innovation behind the Wilcock microwave bag is the stretchable fabric. Yada yada. Sounds like I'm becoming commercial now. But yeah, this is cool. So you can cook your meal on the go, and this is probably not a. Yeah, let me reread what you said here, Pete. Which is probably why we cannot allow a prohibition on Second Amendment for mental illness. Call me. Because one day they may call. Oh, they may call you ill. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're referring to the conversation we had the other night. Okay, now I'm remembering things. Sorry, my head's a little stuffy, and there's heavy machinery working outside. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, no, like, this is not good, because all this is going to do is just make our fast-paced society even faster. Now people don't even have to stop and order food. They can just literally go, grab something, put it in their bag, and keep going. Like, we are literally, like, not going to have a break anymore. This is horrifying. This sounds cool, but it opens up a Pandora's box of things that terrifies the hell out of me. Anyway, what else do we got here? Man sets world record with 40.5 meter death dive into ice cold water. Norwegian death diver Ken Storns just became the first person to perform a death dive from over 40 meters, jumping from a rock wall into the icy water below. Invented by guitar player Erling Bruno Hovden at Frognernabadet during the summer of 1972, death diving, or donsing, is a form of extreme freestyle high diving with stretched arms and belly first. Oh no. You're going to belly flop into that? Jumps are usually performed from a platform position between 10 to 15 meters above the water, but the bravest of death divers plunged from much higher, with the current record in the men's classic category setting at 40.5 meters. This one right here. It was set earlier this month by Ken Storns, a Norwegian former MMA fighter turned extreme athlete, who plunged into the icy waters of Nordfjord from a platform on the side of a tall cliff. So here we have the video here. So let me bigger this. Hold on a second. Can I? Let me. Alt enter work? No. Okay. Why won't it let me bigger this? There we go. Whoa! Oh my God! You do belly flop. Holy shiza, Miza, Heiza Viza. Riser. But wow, that is I have to see that again. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Like, that is just absolute. Oh, so, okay. He threw, like, what did he throw? That's to break the water. So he threw a rock or something to break the water. So that's a very smart move, actually. So he broke the water, and then he dives down in there. I wonder if the timing was intentional. Because I would have, like, jumped off immediately after the rock. Or, like, at least half a second or a second later. Not that long. Because water is like concrete. You know? People don't realize it. And then actually there was, like, this thing where, like, the builders of the Golden Gate Bridge and, like, more other bridges and such. But, like, if you fell from the bridge, you just threw your hammer or something down so that way it breaks the water before you get there. It's gonna hurt, but you'll survive. Otherwise you wouldn't. So, anyway, let's move on up here. 6-year-old girl becomes the first female to solve a Rubik's Cube in under 6 seconds. That is speedy. 6-year-old Cao Quizian set the new women's world record for solving a 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube in 5.97 seconds on average at the World Cube Association Rubik's Cube International Open in Singapore. Quizian, who hails from China's Jiangsu province, started playing with a Rubik's Cube when she was only 3. Inspired by a cousin who taught her the art of speed cubing, solving the world-famous puzzle as quickly as possible. However, after about a year, the girl got so good at it her cousin had nothing to teach her anymore, and her parents got her into a speed cubing coach. She enjoyed speed solving the Rubik's Cube so much that she practiced for 2 to 3 hours every day, and her time was getting better and better. However, there was a point where she hit a wall and needed all of her family's help to overcome it. To be able to motivate and help her overcome this hurdle, which was she was stuck at 12 seconds. She tried to speed it up to 10 seconds for 3 months. So the entire family took up Rubik's Cube speed cubing and even participated in adult competitions. However, no one dared to dream that the gifted speed cuber would be able to set a new world record at the tender age of 6. Yeah, I know, right? Like, whatever it was that he threw, yeah. Well, I mean, like, that has to be intentional. Like, as I said, Pete's, you know, throwing that thing down to break the water first, like, you know, otherwise, you dead. So, but yeah, and yet at the World Cube Association, WCA Rubik's Cube International Open in Singapore, she became the first female to solve the 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube in under 6 seconds in the average category. So she was stuck at 12 and she did it under 6, so she shaved, like, over half her time. That is remarkable. And she was stuck at 12 for so long. And she couldn't get to 10, and then zoop. So that is awesome. Congratulations. And I wonder if anybody can even do it faster than that. Like, I wonder what is the fastest physical, like, you know, you can only spin those cubes, you know, so fast. So I wonder what is the theoretical, like, without imperfections, how fast can a human physically do it? You know? So there has to be some kind of model that does that, figuring out probabilities and whatnot. Anyway, let's move on up. Scientists observed mosquitoes feeding exclusively on frogs' nostrils. Well, I mean, the amount of sneezing I've been doing, maybe I might welcome this. Who knows? A team of scientists studying freshwater ponds in an Australian. Why do I keep getting these two confused? Australian island observed a rather peculiar mosquito behavior. When feeding on frogs, mosquitoes would always go for the nostrils. John Gold and Jose Valdez, the first with the University of Newcastle in Australia, the German Center. This is okay. This spelling mistakes is not helping my dyslexia. The German Center for Integrative Biodiversity Research spent 3 years surveying approximately 60 freshwater wetland ponds on Kurrang Island in New South Wales, Australia. During their research, they observed and photographed a total of 3,977 amphibians, but upon returning to their laboratory and laying out all of their photos, they noticed something intriguing. Out of their thousands of photos, 12 of them showed mosquitoes feeding on various species of frogs, but in all of them, the mosquitoes were sucking blood from the animals' nostrils. Huh. Oh yeah, so yeah, right here. Boom, 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 boom. Wow. Let's see here. Feeding site specificity has been observed in blood-sucking insects like frog-biting midget. What? frog-biting midges, what the hell, and other species of mosquitoes. But it is particularly intriguing in the case of these mosquitoes, identified by experts as Mimoia elegans, the species native to Australia, because of the risk of death. The frogs observed by Golden Valdez feed on mosquitoes, so the insects take a great risk by approaching the snout. However, this also suggests that the nostril is the optimal location for blood extraction, hence worth the risk. Huh. So that's interesting. So these frogs feed on these mosquitoes, and these mosquitoes feed on the frogs. And they do it in a very precarious area. So that's interesting. Huh. Alright, well, let's see here. Moving on up. Stairway decoration in Belgian home found to be long-lost Pompeii artifact. Ooh, wow. A Belgian father and his son were shocked to learn that a souvenir that had adorned the hallway of their home for about 50 years was an authentic artifact from the lost Italian city of Pompeii. Whoa! Raphael D. Temmerman, at the age of 80, and his son, Gert D. Temmerman, said they visited Italy in 1975, and while touring the city of Pompeii, they were approached by a man who offered to sell them a souvenir, some carved stones depicting a scene. The stone scene was installed in the stairway at the family's original home, and little thought was given to it until this year, when Raphael D. Temmerman was preparing to move out of the house, and his son decided to have the object appraised. A pair of specialists from the Gallo-Roman Museum in Tongeren visited the home to inspect the stone scene, and the next day the family was visited by police officers who drew up a report. Whoa, uh-oh. The father and son said they were surprised to be told the stairway decoration was an authentic Pompeii artifact that had been reported stolen 50 years earlier. Oh no! They bought a hot art piece. That's not good. And Christianines, Tongeren's deputy mayor of culture, said officials are keen to see the artifact return to Italy. Gert D. Temmerman said he will comply with whatever plans authorities devise for the stones to return to Pompeii, but he is hoping for some financial compensation. Yeah, that would be fair since he bought it. I mean, but still, like, you know, it is a stolen thing. So, but he should be compensated. So here, hold on a second. Let me bigger this. So let's see here. So that's pretty cool. So that's just that small area of stone, and it's a little scene here. Huh. It shows the earthquake from 62 AD, it says. Alright, well, if you want to watch more of this and learn more about it, please, go to the underbar of the description. They do all the footwork. They, make the articles. I'm just some random dude online who sits here and reads this to you. Anyway, let's move on up. Never a Straight Answer gives update on long-lost space tomatoes. NASA offered an update on the 2 tomatoes lost for 8 months aboard the International Space Station and offered the first look at the dehydrated fruits. I had no idea that we had lost tomatoes in space to begin with. The tomatoes, among the first ever grown in space, were originally suspected to have been eaten by astronaut Frank Rubio, who insisted they were merely lost somewhere on the station, and Expedition 70 crew members recently revealed Rubio was exonerated as they had located the long-lost foods 8 months later. NASA has now provided a first look at the tomatoes, which are dehydrated and squished, but astronauts said they showed no visible signs of microbial or fungal growth, despite the high humidity aboard the station. The space agency said the tomatoes were discarded by the station crew. So, yeah, this is what they look like here. Would you eat those? I don't know. Like, I'm not entirely sure if I would eat these. Like, that does not look good. So, yeah. Anyway, what else do we got here? Okay, Idaho man sorts peanut M&Ms by color in record time. Oh, is this going to be David Rush? Let me get cereal world record. David Rush! You can't hush the rush! Added another title to his name by sorting 17.6 ounces of peanut M&Ms by color in 1 minute and 14 seconds. Rush, who holds more than 250 Guinness World Record titles, took on the record for the fastest time to sort 500 grams of peanut M&Ms as part of an online challenge for Guinness World Records Day. Rush said he had to raid his kids' Halloween leftovers and buy 2 large bags of the candy to have enough to tackle this record. Oh, you broke into your kids' Halloween candy? Shame on you. That's not cool, bro. The record-breaking enthusiast said it took him 16 tries to achieve a time of 1 minute and 14 seconds, besting the previous record of 1 minute and 18 seconds. So yeah, good old David Rush, always doing some things. Yeah, like, you know, look at this guy. We've covered him so much on this show. It's insane. Anyway, what else do we have here? Actually, hold on a second. History, recently closed tabs. I want to see the actual video. Give me the video. So he just pours the M&Ms in there. So you got... It's 2023 and we're separating things by color? Isn't that not PC? I don't know. Like... I'm wondering if anybody's gonna attack good old Rush here and be like, oh, you're not being all inclusive. Why are you separating all the colors in their separate balls? Yeah. Anyway, what else do we got here? Brewery, creamery team up to create blue cheese beer. Huh. A brewery and a creamery teamed up in Oregon to create a product they admit might inspire some skepticism: blue cheese beer. I don't like blue cheese already, and now you're gonna drink it? Maybe with alcohol I can tolerate it. Rogue Creamery and the Crux Fermentation Project teamed up to create Cool Ship Beer No. 6, a lambic-style ale brewed using Rogue River blue cheese and aged in oak barrels for nearly 2 years. Larry Sidor is the founder and master brewer for the Crux Fermentation Project. Said it was hard to sell this to his own team. The duo said that despite the doubters, Cold Ship Beer No. 6 proved to be a tasty brew. Huh. Well, would you give this a shot? Blue cheese beer? Not entirely sure. So yeah, here we go. They're just putting the blue cheese into the beer. So, interesting stuff here. Anyway, let's move on up. What else do we got here? More from UPI, aka UPI. Endangered African painted dogs born at Indiana Zoo. Alright. Cool stuff. An Indiana Zoo announced the birth of 3 endangered African painted dog pups in the facility. The Potawatomi Zoo in South Bend said the pups were born on September 28th to first-time mother Blue and father Maurice, but the parents showed little interest in the newborns. A golden retriever named Cassie, who had just given birth to her own puppies, was brought to the zoo to serve as a surrogate mother. Some of the pups' siblings were not strong enough to survive, but the trio are now 11 weeks old and healthy, the zoo said. The pups do not have names yet, but are being referred to as Blue, Red, and Orange for the time being. Zoo officials said a new enclosure is being built for these pups next to the habitat housing Blue, Maurice, and Blue's sister, Colby, so the youngsters can observe natural painted dog behavior. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So some endangered species, you know, brought into the world. Nice. What else do we got here? Oh, 2023, the 10 Honest Guinness World Records of the year. Okay, what do we got? Most skips by a cat in 1 minute. What? Oh, are you kidding me? They're doing cat skipping. Good luck. Yeah, this is going as well as I expected it. Yeah, okay. That's not. Huh. Okay. Loudest burp, female. We covered that one. Longest distance full body burn. Wait. Longest distance full body burn run without oxygen. What? Oh, so like, you know, while on fire. Yeah, French firefighter at the age 39 donned a protective suit and was set ablaze on a track at Halberdan for 893-foot run that earned him the record for the longest distance full body run without oxygen. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Longest tongue on a living dog, 5.46 inches. That's a pretty long tongue. Most spoons balanced on the body. I think we covered that one. Most magic tricks underwater in 3 minutes. That's interesting. They really do have a record for everything, don't they? Most people eating a single piece of spaghetti simultaneously. What? You know what? Oh yeah, that's right. So it wasn't one spaghetti for all these people. They all had one spaghetti between 2 of them for the Italian kiss. Yeah, 465 couples. We covered that as well. Fastest time to assemble a Mr. Potato Head blindfolded. Okay. Longest mustache on a living person, male. I wonder if there's a female version. Probably there is. That's That's terrifying, but, you know, whatever floats your boat. But look at that stash. That is a British mustache if there ever was one. Fastest 5 meters on a scooter by a parrot. Okay. Yeah, we've seen those things. So, yeah, I think that was 10. I'm not sure if I missed anyone. Anyway, moving on up, we have another article here. 2 jackpot-winning Mega Million tickets sold at the same California store. This is a conspiracy potential right here. The California Lottery announced 2 jackpot-winning tickets for the $395 million Mega Millions drawing were sold at the same store. Okay. Lottery officials said 2 tickets for Friday's night drawing were sold at the Chevron station on Ventura Boulevard in Encino, bearing the numbers 21, 26, 53, 66, 70, and 13. Carolyn Becker, a lottery spokesperson, said the officials do not know yet why 2 identical tickets were sold at the same store. So yeah, that sounds like a little bit of foul plays going on. Something's going to come of this. Let's see if we get a follow-up. So, yeah, hang on to that. What else do we got here? South Korean robot dog breaks speed record. Okay. The South Korean team's dog-like hound was dubbed the fastest robot on 4 legs when it traversed a distance of 328 feet in 19.87 seconds. The Dynamic Robot Control and Design Laboratory at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Daejeon developed the Hound robot, and Guinness World Records confirmed it broke the record by running the fastest 100 meters by a quadrupedal robot. So let's see how fast this is. Let me bigger this here. Get rid of the sound. Alright. Well, I'm not sure how fast that is, but yeah, like the robots are now getting fast enough to be able to chase people down. So the age of Chappie is coming. Police robots and whatnot. I mean, they already armed them. Like where was it that they had that drone with a gun and they shot somebody with it? Or something? That was Texas? I don't remember. Anyway, what else do we got here? Oh yeah, speaking of robots. And look at this. This is the robots we covered. Amazon. This is their new bipedal robots used for more human-like activity. And just how typical is Amazon? Well, very much like the human workers, they don't give this poor robot an oil change break, you know, for its version of the bathroom. So, Amazon, like, leave it to Amazon to be so bad that they can't even, like, it's unbearable for things that are built to work. Like, it's not even appropriate job, you know, like, setting for things created to do jobs non-stop. Like, oh, typical Amazon. Anyway, oh, yeah, what would you do if you heard some weird noises in your Christmas tree, you know? It'd be even worse if you had a fake tree, actually. But yeah, right here, Yuletide owl found roosting in Kentucky family's Christmas tree. Okay, a Kentucky family's Christmas tree was inside of their home for 4 days before it was discovered to be the home of a young owl. Wow. Well, I mean, you know, this is why you gotta give a hoot about looking in your tree before you take it into your house. Michelle White of Lexington said the owl somehow managed to remain undetected in the tree for 4 days by simply blending in with the branches. They have 3 dogs, and they use this room nonstop. They watch TV, and the kitchen's right there, so no indication. Wow. Bobby Hayes, owner of Magic Carpet Cleaning, was servicing the home while the family was away when he noticed the branches moving. A closer examination revealed an owl moving through the tree. Wow. So let's see here. Let's yeah, we have this news story. Do they have actual footage of the owl? Let's see. Oh, here we go. So they have a picture. Huh. And it's a natural Christmas ornament. Yeah. It was just sitting right there. Huh. 4 days. Well, you know, that just goes to show you, like, please thoroughly check your tree, like, before you put it up. Like, no matter what it is. Like, you know, if it's a fake tree, a rat could have gotten into it. And if it's a real tree, there could be a squirrel, there could be an owl, there could be a rabid raccoon. You know, you don't know. Like, you don't want to wake up with rabies on Christmas Day. That's no bueno. So, anyway, And we got a Christmas miracle here. Air Jordans worth over $10,000 found in shelter donation bin. And actually, hold on a second. Let me check out my, yeah. Oh, it says it was stronger than this one, yeah. Wasn't a gun. It was plastic explosives in Texas, affectionately named R2FU. Huh. I wish I remembered what I was talking about for this reply. God, it sucks being a stoner sometimes. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so somebody anonymously donated $10,000 Air Jordans. An Oregon shelter is auctioning off a rare discovery from its donation bin, a pair of gold Air Jordan 3 sneakers commissioned by Spike Lee and valued at more than $10,000. Sotheby's auction house said a participant in the traditional shelter program at the Burnside Shelter, operated by the Portland Rescue Mission, was sorting through donations earlier this year when he found the gold shoes at the bottom of a bin. Tinker Hatfield, designer of the Air Jordan 3 sneakers, paid a visit to the shelter to examine the shoes. He confirmed they were a custom pair of Air Jordan 3 shoes commissioned by Spike Lee to wear to the Academy Awards in 2019. Hatfield provided the shelter with a replacement box and a framed and signed design proof. The shoes, valued at more than $10,000, are being auctioned by Sotheby's, with 100% of the hammer price going to the Portland Rescue Mission. They are expected to fetch up to $20,000. Bidding on the shoes is open through December 18th, so you still have 3 days. It is unclear how the shoes came to be in the donation bin. But hey, every now and then, somebody, with money actually has a legitimate golden heart and really does something nice. Anonymously donating $10,000 pair of shoes. So, yeah, this is heartwarming. And how awful the world is today. Every now and then we get glimmers of shiny hope. Sometimes literally, with golden shoes. So, use that to put your best foot forward for tomorrow. Anyway, moving on up. Record-breaking Christmas lights irk some neighbors in New York. Well, I can see why. The New York family with the Guinness World Record for the most lights on a residential property said this year's Christmas display is their biggest ever, but not all neighbors are amused. Tim Gay of Union Vale, whose family first set the record for most lights on a residential property with 346,283 Christmas lights in 2012, but before topping it with a 2014 display, said the latest version of the ERDAJT holiday lights display, named for his children's initials, now sports 720,426 lights. The opulent Christmas displays are a tradition of the Gay family, but some neighbors said they are tired of the bright lights and long lines of cars the display brings to the neighborhood. Well, then move! You want to be Scrooges, then get out of there. Let people celebrate. It might be a tad overdone, but you know what? It comes once a year. Stop being sourpusses and just enjoy life, okay? How about that? Let's see here. Edward J. Cashy announced plans to run for a seat on the town board due to officials failing to rein in the holiday tradition. So, wow. So it's driving some people to get into politics, actually. So let's take a look at these lights here. Holy. Okay, let me bigger this really quick. Okay, that is... Now I can see why. That's a holy... Ouch, my eyes. That is rather obnoxious. If you had slower pace, it would be a lot more bearable. But this is just... I feel like I'm in a Christmas theme of the Roxbury, where they have the inside on the outside and the outside on the inside. And if you haven't seen the movie Night at the Roxbury, please do go see it. But yeah, enough of this. That is rather obnoxious, to be honest. Yeah, quote, if you bring joy and happiness to 50,000 people and you have 10 or 20 that don't like you, I think that's a fair trade-off, end quote. Tim Gay said. You know what? I'm going to have to agree. And, let me play this here really quick. And, this is Tim.
We're going to have the best-looking house in town, Russ.
I think you might be overdoing it, Dad.
When was the last time I overdid anything?
Tell me, do you want to go?
Oh, I forgot. Enough of that. But, like, yeah, no, this is... Yeah, I'm starting to tear up. Like, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus, whatever it is you celebrate, guys. Have a good one, or I hope you had a good one, because, you know, this is the real reason for the season, you know, to be happy, to enjoy life, to come together, you know, just, like, look at what they did in the First World War, the Christmas truce. That is the real spirit of humanity right there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm starting to tear up. So, anyway, let me sign off before I start blathering like a freaking blatterer. That shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just on Rumble or YouTube. We are also on BitChute and Odyssey for select shows and all that stuff. Links to those and our social medias and all that stuff are on our link tree, although the link tree is censoring BitChute for whatever reason, you know, whatever. Anyway, for your dose of different, odd, and unusual news, aka notable events, weather, and sports, we stream every Tuesday, or not every, we stream every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 Mountain, 5 Central, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. So, yeah, until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, you know, be it the History Show, this news show, the Peanut, Theod, the Omni Kitchen, iNosh, or whatever, you know, product of the Omni Coalition we do here. Until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!